The sound jolted me awake at exactly 6:02 a.m., echoing through the neighborhood like a rifle crack on a morning that was supposed to be peaceful. I didn't even need to check anymore, I knew. For the 27th straight day, my mailbox had been flattened, victim to another drive-by at the hands of our local suburban enforcers. Only this time, I had front row seats courtesy of my phone's security cam. That ridiculous golf cart, HOA logo peeling, magnet barely hanging on, came careening down my driveway at a whopping 12 miles per hour, piloted by a pair of retirees in neon windbreakers, lattes trembling in their hands like they were about to invade Normandy. The driver, helmet hair so bulletproof I swear you could bounce quarters off it, eyed my brand new, indestructible titanium mailbox like it was public enemy number one. And with all the solemnity of a military strike, she rammed the cart straight into it. $800 down the drain. That box bent at a 45-degree angle, just like the last one, and I couldn't even be mad. I was almost impressed. But this morning, the chaos had a bonus. As the cart limped away, the passenger fumbled something. A folder, papers scattering across my lawn like confetti at a funeral. I had no idea then just how explosive those papers would turn out to be. Let me back up. 3 months ago, I made the single worst financial decision of my life. I bought a house in Riverside Gardens, a subdivision so uniform you could stand on any corner and play spot the difference until your eyes bled. I just wanted some peace, a vegetable garden, maybe the odd blue jay in the yard. What I got was Margaret Sullivan, 63, queen of the HOA, whose handshake smelled like Chardonnay and whose smile could curdle milk. Margaret wasn't just president. She was treasurer, secretary, self-appointed community integrity czar, founder of the CRT Squad, which, no kidding, stood for Community Integrity Rapid Response Team. Laminated badges, high-vis jackets, 3 HOA-funded golf carts with spinning construction lights, and a sound system that could summon the dead. Once, I asked about the breathalyzer device on her dashboard. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "We use it to test for energy drink addiction. Those folks are a danger to the community." She wasn't joking. I later found her hand-drawn flowchart of energy drink abuse and architectural noncompliance, tacked up next to the water aerobics sign at the clubhouse. 2 weeks after moving in, the trouble started. Citation taped to my door, mailbox 2 inches too tall. I measured 3 times, within spec. At the HOA meeting, Margaret produced a ruler that looked like it had come straight from an elementary school lost and found, then held up a chart she'd whipped up in Microsoft Paint. Mailbox height up, property values down. When I asked for real proof, she just pursed her lips and said, "I have sources." Next day, my mailbox was bent sideways. Footage from my security cam, Margaret herself, crowbar in hand, channeling her inner action movie villain. From then on, I was public enemy number one. I replaced the mailbox, this time with 3 neighbors as witnesses. Margaret's answer? Mailbox surveillance, CRT making their daily passes. Harold scribbling on his clipboard, Beatrice holding paint chips to the box like she was at Home Depot, circling my driveway like a SWAT team with arthritis. The mailbox war escalated. Every morning, new creative damage. Sometimes it'd just be knocked down, other days, folded at impossible angles. Once, I opened it to find 34 expired Applebee's coupons stapled together in a shape that looked an awful lot like a middle finger. Margaret claimed it was mailbox fatigue syndrome from a highway 7 miles away. She even showed up with a tuning fork, demonstrating vibrations no one else could hear. I tried everything. Better cameras, covered in silly string, a little fence, torn down for non-compliance, bill in my mailbox 2 days later, even staking out the box myself. Every night I watched, nothing happened, until I finally fell asleep. Then, bam, mailbox obliterated. That's when I knew I needed a game changer. Enter the Sentinel 5000. Not just a mailbox, a fortress. Brushed steel, titanium core, military grade. Supposedly could survive a low-speed collision and a sledgehammer. I dropped $1,200, plus city permits, did the install myself. Met every spec, color, and dimension, but inside? All fortress. I added a speaker. Every time the mail came, it played the 2001, A Space Odyssey theme. I called it the monolith. Did Margaret take the bait? Like clockwork. 6:02 a.m., her golf cart screeching down the drive, her lieutenants in tow, windbreakers flapping. The collision was a work of art. The monolith didn't budge, but the cart's axle snapped like a breadstick. Margaret went flying into my neighbor's lava rocks. Harold's latte exploded across the windshield, and Beatrice somehow triggered an air horn straight into her ear. As the dust settled, my mailbox started blaring victory music. I waited 10 minutes, just enough for everyone's shame to set in, then strolled outside, coffee in hand, playing innocent. Margaret, covered in red rocks and outrage, tried to accuse me of setting a trap, but I just grinned and pointed at my camera. Turns out, deliberately smashing a mailbox is a federal crime. Who knew? That afternoon, I uploaded the security footage to Facebook with the caption, "Cart versus Mailbox. Place your bets." Within hours, it exploded. By morning, the clip had gone viral. Local news, HOA horror story forums, even a newsletter called Mailbox Monthly. Commenters shared their own war stories, but everyone agreed. Margaret's launch into the rocks was Hall of Fame material. The consequences hit quick. News vans lined the street. Margaret tried to ticket them for illegal parking. City Council got involved, poking into why $30,000 of HOA funds went to golf carts and windbreakers. The real kicker? Harold finally broke, showing investigators emails outlining Operation Metal Fatigue, a campaign to drive me, and apparently 3 other victims, out of the neighborhood by mailbox psychological warfare. The folder they dropped that morning? Margaret's personal notebook, complete with diagrams, ratings for each attack, and plans for future mayhem. One note read, "Harrison thinks steel will stop us. Add Harold's weight. Maximum impact. You can't make this stuff up." Then came the day the USPS inspector rolled up. Margaret, not missing a beat, issued him a citation for non-regulation footwear. She tried to stick a ticket to his truck. He just pulled out the handcuffs. Margaret Sullivan, HOA president, got perp-walked in front of half the neighborhood, charged with everything from impersonating a federal officer to destruction of postal property. The next HOA meeting needed to be moved to the middle school gym. The crowd was huge. Everyone, it turned out, had a Margaret story. She'd measured one woman's garden gnome hat 16 times, forced a guy to repaint his house 3 times because the beige was too aggressive. The vote to remove her was unanimous. Even Harold and Beatrice turned on her. Then, in a twist nobody saw coming, someone nominated Steve, the Andersons' golden retriever, for HOA president. Steve won, of course. He spent his first official meeting napping under the podium. The rest of Margaret's legacy unraveled fast. She'd embezzled over 50 grand, used HOA money for home surveillance, the works. Sentenced to 3 years probation, 2,000 hours cleaning federal mailboxes, and banned for life from any HOA position or operating anything bigger than a push mower. The cherry on top? Any bullhorn she owns now only plays Mambo No. 5. When the judge read that condition, her face turned colors I'd never seen outside of a paint store. Yeah, that happened. The best part? Now when I get my mail, Steve usually trots over for a scratch. Nobody cares if my grass is 2.8 inches tall, and the neighborhood is almost normal. But let's be real. The next time you get a letter about your non-compliant mailbox, ask yourself, are you living in a community or a dictatorship in disguise? So, what do you think? Was justice served, or did the whole thing just get out of hand? Ever fought your own HOA wars? Drop your wildest stories or your thoughts on neighborhood justice down below, because honestly, I can't be the only one with a tale like this.